Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be going over how to navigate your way through osTicket, which is a help desk ticketing system, as both an admin and an agent. We're going to break this into two parts. Part one is going to be setting up your ticketing system. Now your company may have a different ticketing system. I just chose osTicket because it's kind of, I don't want to say generic, but it's a ubiquitous ticketing system that a lot of companies do use. So if you are somebody who's working in help desk or you're planning on going into help desk, this might be a good video for you to kind of show you how to navigate through this user interface that most ticketing systems do have. So without further ado, let's jump into this. As you can see right here, I have a virtual system deployed. This is actually one that I created using Microsoft Azure. For an overview on how I did that, you can take a look at this video on the screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching it on mobile, I don't think it pops up on screen, but either way, I have a different video that goes over how to deploy these virtual machines in Microsoft Azure. So let's hop into it. Okay, so let's maximize this. And you can see here that there's, up here it says admin panel. This switches between the admin panel and the agent panel. Right now I'm in the agent panel. So for the first part of the video, I want to go over some of the features that you'd be doing as an administrator. So that said, we're going to click into admin panel here. And I'm not going to go over all the settings here. You can see that some of the basic ones is you can put your help desk names here. So if you're, let's say your company is Avoncore, you can say like Avoncore help desk. And then when you reload the help desk, it'll show that at the bottom. Okay, so that's one of the things you can do. Collision avoidance here is another important one. If somebody's working a ticket and you want to make sure that there's not two people working the same ticket, it's going to cause issues within the server. You can set this to 5 minutes, or you can leave it at 3. But by changing this is the amount of time that needs to elapse before one user can jump into a help ticket that another user is in the process of working. So there's a 5-minute kind of delay that needs to play itself out before somebody else can jump in and work that ticket. You can see that here's the whitelist right here. Some common web pages like websites like YouTube, dailymotion.com, Vimeo. These are all whitelisted. So anybody that embeds this in a ticket, the link will allow you to click on it as an embedded URL. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is take this help desk offline while we're working on it. That's a good practice to get into because it just makes it so that there's not any server traffic happening while you're making changes as the system administrator to your help desk. So we're going to take this offline and we're going to say save changes. And again, that'll just prevent anybody from being able to log in and make any changes while you're trying to make changes to this site. Next thing we're going to do is hop over to agents. Now, this is where we can assign and create new agents. Again, these are people who are working help desk tickets. We can assign them to teams, you can give them roles, and we can assign them to different departments within the company. Now, before we actually create any agents, we do want to make sure that we have a good rubric built out in this help desk system. We want to make sure that we have a good setup before we start assigning people to different teams and roles. So first thing we're going to do is go to teams here, and you can see there's level 1 support. And I would recommend just leaving this alone if you have a small company. And the reason for that is because if you have a help desk team of anywhere from like 3 to 5 people, let's say it's a smaller company with only like, I don't know, 100 people, a little bit less than that, you really don't need that many help desk technicians and different tiers of support. So for a smaller company, I would say let's just leave level 1 support. Now, if you have a larger company, you may want to create another team, and this is where tickets that need to get escalated go. So you can say escalated support team. Okay, and you can assign a team lead. Again, we don't have any people that we can do that with right now, but this is just, again, we're just kind of building the framework for how this is going to work, okay? I'm going to assume that this is a small company, so we're going to say cancel, but I just wanted to show you how this would work if you needed to have a different team, different level of support to help handle the tickets that are coming through, okay? Let's go over to roles here. And this right here assigns different levels of privilege for all of the agents that are working the tickets. Here you have view only. Let's say that you have an intern that's just in the learning process of how to work these tickets. Okay, well, you can see they have no permissions here. Go over to here. They can, let's say, they can just read them. So they don't have any privileges at all. So all they can do is effectively just read the tickets and watch how other agents handle the in-house support tickets and IT issues that come through to them, okay? So this would be something that would be like assigned to somebody who's in training. Maybe you have an intern. So view only doesn't have any privilege at all. Limited access is somebody who just came out of a training program, and you don't want them to have the ability to just close tickets they can't handle. It's something that they should either transfer or learn how to handle those tickets. Maybe you want to give them limited access. Now, something like your help desk manager or system admin is going to have something like all access, where they kind of have like a master key that allows them to add, delete, reassign, link, merge tickets. So they have total control of all of the actions that somebody working a help desk would normally have. Let's jump over to departments here. Okay, and you have a maintenance, you have a sales, you have a support. We can add more departments here. Let's say you have an engineering team. Okay, and you don't want them to be a subdivision of any other team. You want them to be their own. You just leave this blank. So come down here, create department, and off you go. And you can do this for as many departments as your company has. And this also allows you to kind of subdivide your help desk across these different departments. So you don't have just one help desk. You'll have people in the engineering department that are working the help desk there. You'll have people in the sales department working the help desk there. Heck, we can even create a new department. Let's create an accounting department just to get practice for this. Okay, so we're going to add new department, and we'll say accounting. Okay. And also, one more thing, if you have an HR department, you want to make sure that you don't have your accounting in your HR department. It's oftentimes a huge internal security risk to have accounting and HR in the same departments. So we're going to want to keep these separate. All right, create department. Now, not all help desk tickets are created equally. You'll have some people that are asking about troubleshooting something really minor down to like business critical infrastructure failures where you'll have an entire network that is taken offline. Okay, so these are categorized in what are called SLAs, service level agreements, and we're going to customize those right now. So we're going to go into manage, go into SLAs, and you can see there's a default SLA, which means that this tickets that are assigned with this SLA, they should be solved within 18 hours. Okay. Now, we can add new SLAs. We could say urgent, business critical. Okay, and let's say that this is something like I mentioned earlier, like an entire network is taken offline. Or let's say that you work at a bank and nobody's able to log in and check their balance. Or let's say that there's a server that crashes. Okay, this is something that like you need to get this back online. You need to get this taken care of immediately. So maybe this is something that needs to be solved within, let's say, 2 hours. Okay, and this is not something that if it's assigned at 4 p.m. on Friday, it can wait until 9 a.m. on Monday. No, this needs to be solved immediately. So this is going to be a 24/7. Oops, not 24/5, 24/7 SLA. And we do not want to allow anything to be overridden. We want a clear-cut paper trail of everyone who has ever touched a ticket that comes in that is this critical. So we're going to leave this unchecked. And we're going to create an internal note here, just letting people know, hey, this is not something to be taken lightly. If anybody has any general inquiries, this is not the SLA plan for this. There we go. So that's the business critical SLA. Now, let's say that you're on a 4-day work week where you work. Well, you don't have a 4-day schedule, but you can make one right here. You can go into schedules. Okay, and you have a 24/5, 24/7. Let's say that you wanted to add one that's 24/4. People only work Monday through Thursday. So you can say 4-day work week. Okay. This is for business hours. Okay, and once you create this schedule, go into entries and say add new entry. And we're going to say that everybody works from, again, this is the 4-day work week. And we'll say that it starts on, say, the next Monday. So July 22nd, 2024. And it goes until Thursday. And it's not a full 24-hour day. It starts at 8 a.m. and goes until 5 p.m. And this repeats weekly. There you go. All right. I think I did that right. If not, I'm sure some of y'all will let me know in the comments. Okay, so that allows you to create a different schedule that you can then pin to an SLA. So let's say that everybody gets a 3-day weekend. You don't want tickets coming in on Friday that are then classified as overdue after 6 hours pass and there's just nobody at the office. Okay, so let's do new SLA plan for day work week, and we don't want this to be, well, you could say this can be overwritten. Okay, add plan. Okay. And let's say that this needs to be done in, say the standard is 8 hours. Okay, you got 8 hours to deal with a basic non-critical ticket that comes in. All right, add plan. There we go. Okay, APIs we're not really going to talk about. These are more for your developers. But the last thing we're going to do is go into agents. Click this tab right here. Okay, now we can start creating people, like assigning different employees to this help desk. So I got a few names here. We're gonna add, let's say you got a Jimmy Dean that works there. And the email address is jdean@abc.com. Okay, you can fill this in if you want, you leave it blank. Username, jdean. And usually when you assign a new user, you're gonna want them to set their own password. Now you can set their password for them. Most system admins don't do that. So just let them set their own password and send them an email with a link that they can open up, okay? So we'll say set, boom, done. All right, so we got Jimmy Dean in here, and we can provision the amount of access that we want this person to have, okay? So we could say that Jimmy Dean is in our support. And we're gonna say, again, this is a small company, so we're gonna give everybody all access, because let's say that everybody's in the same room together and they can collaborate and just, they're at the point where they can tap each other on the shoulder. Yeah, there's no reason to give anybody who isn't in training anything other than all access, okay? So we'll say create. Teams, again, we don't really have many high-level support teams, so we're just gonna leave that blank. All right, so that's how you create an agent. We're gonna go back and create a few more. And if you're a system administrator or you're the help desk manager, you're gonna be doing a lot of this right here, okay? Next one we got Orville Redenbacher. All right, email address, Redenbacher@abccompany.com. All right, username, Redenbacher. And this can change. Let's say that they wanted a new username. You as the admin can go in and change their username here, okay? Now, of course, they would have to set their own password once you do that. Again, good practice to have them set their own. So we'll just go ahead and say set, done. Now we'll go over to Orville Redenbacher's access and we'll say, all right, this guy is in support as well. And we're gonna give this person all access. Okay, let's do one more. Let's actually create an intern. So we'll go back to agents, and we're gonna say new agent. We're gonna create one more person here, and we're gonna say this person is, let's stay on the topic of food here. Let's say Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker. All right, and same format, B Crocker@abc.com or whatever your company is. Okay. Again, you can fill these out. You can leave them blank. It's up to you. Username, we'll say B Crocker. All right, and we're gonna have her set her own password. Now, if this person needs limited access, you might wanna have them say, okay, we're gonna limit ticket access only to tickets assigned to them. There are reasons for leaving this unchecked. Like if you want to give them read-only access to be able to kind of peek around in the system and look at different tickets and how they were resolved, there's an argument to be made for leaving this unchecked. But let's say that you want to err on the side of caution and you want to control what they're able to see and how they're able to streamline their learning process. You may want to have this checked off here. All right, we'll say create. Oh, that's right. We need to set this first. So we're going to have Betty also in the support department, but we're going to have her be an intern. Okay, so we're going to go with limited access. Okay, so she can answer tickets. She can't close them. She can't escalate them, but she can start working tickets. But the amount that she can do with the tickets coming in will be limited to whatever your company has for their interns. All right, so we're going to create this last person right here, and that's about it. That's kind of a surface level tutorial I wanted to give on the admin side of osTicket. Again, your company may use a different ticketing system, but I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what you can expect as a system admin, kind of going in and creating different employees. Let's say that one of your employees, here's another thing you might be asked to do. Let's say one of your employees gets fired, okay? Again, this is a good example. I'm glad I actually thought of this. Let's say one of your employees gets fired. Well, while they're getting their talking to from HR and learning that they're no longer a member of the ABC company family, you might want to go in here to agents. Whoop. This will happen every once in a while. You got to log in. As a system admin, I'm using a Alice Adminton, and that my username is adminton. And I got a password here. This will occasionally happen from time to time with helpdesk, or with osTicket rather. And let's say that Jimmy Dean gets fired, or maybe they're on like a 2-week suspension with or without pay, and we want to lock their account. Okay, while they're in HR learning that they are in a bit of hot water, we don't want them to have the ability to go back to their desk and be able to launch a denial of service attack on the entire network, or send out a mass email containing an executable file that has PowerShell script that will crash everyone's computer. Something like that. Like, we want to make sure this person, if they're a disgruntled employee that is either quitting or they're getting fired, we don't want them to be able to have access to, let's say, sensitive data that they may have had access to before. So while they're in the office of HR or their boss, we need to make sure we lock their account. So you go in, you lock it, and you save it so they can't log in and do anything nefarious if and when they get back to their desk. So, okay, that's it for the administrative side of things. In the next video, I'm going to show you what it's like on the agent side of things, where we are receiving tickets, working those tickets, transferring those tickets, and trying to find the best course of action for resolving some of the issues that you might find are coming across your desk as a help desk professional. See you in the next video.